cannons fire again at dawn. The wall holds for hours, then breaks in the same place it was rebuilt last night. The defenders are doing everything right, and it no longer matters. History is about to decide who can still control the future. For over 1,000 years, one system guaranteed control: leadstone walls designed to outlast any army. The people inside believed time was on their side. It always had been. But now a new pressure has entered the equation. Not more soldiers, not better tactics. A weapon whose cost only one side can afford, and whose effect makes repair meaningless. The decision is no longer how to defend the walls, but whether defense itself is still possible. This story is about the moment when control begins to slip, not through cowardice or betrayal, but because an old system survived just long enough to watch itself become obsolete. If this is the kind of history you want more of, you can subscribe, like this video, and let's continue. The emperor refuses the contract and orders the treasurer to close the ledger. The system being touched is not the wall itself, but the economy that keeps it relevant. For centuries, Constantinople's defense has depended on stone, labor, and time. The walls are expensive to maintain, but predictable. They demand masons, not inventors. Routine, not innovation. Orban stands in the chamber with rolled parchment under his arm. Specifications, measurements, costs. He is not offering more stone or thicker gates. He is offering a different system entirely. The price is the problem. The imperial treasury is already stretched. Garrisons, repairs, subsidies to allies who send little in return. Every coin is committed to keeping the old system standing. There is no surplus for experimentation, no margin for a weapon whose value cannot yet be proven. Stone walls have worked for 1,000 years. That history has weight inside this room. The decision is not framed as refusal, but prudence. The walls still stand. No enemy has breached them with force alone. To pay for a cannon that might change warfare feels unnecessary, even reckless. Metal seals press into wax. The document is closed, not signed. Orban leaves the city with his plans intact. The system does not collapse in this moment. It hardens. By choosing affordability over adaptation, the empire preserves control for one more day, and quietly loses the ability to decide how long that control will last. The cannon founder presents his designs again, this time to a ruler who does not hesitate. The system now being touched is procurement. Who can convert money into power, and how fast? Mermd listens while advisors calculate weight, transport, rate of fire. They are not asking whether the walls can be broken. They are asking how many shots it will take. The Ottoman treasury is organized for expansion. Revenue from land, ports, and tribute is liquid. It exists to be spent on advantage, not preservation. This system rewards novelty when novelty promises control. Orban names his price. No debate follows. Contracts are issued. Metal is ordered. Workshops are cleared. The decision is immediate because delay carries no benefit. If the weapon works, it changes siege warfare. If it fails, the cost is absorbed without consequence. Either way, the Ottomans gain information the Byzantines cannot afford to buy. Foundries roar with heat. Bronze molds are reinforced. Stone shot is carved to dimensions never before acquired. This is not a single cannon, but a production effort. Timelines replace theory. Transport routes are mapped backward from the walls themselves. Each step tightens the system. Money becomes metal. Metal becomes capacity. By the time the barrels cool, the decision can no longer be undone. Resources have already been converted into momentum. The old balance, walls versus time, no longer applies. Control has not yet shifted, but it now has a price tag, and only one side has already paid it. Orders are issued to move the cannon before the roads are ready. The system under strain is logistics, the ability to translate design into presence. The cannon is too heavy for standard wagons, too long for city gates, too fragile to rush. Engineers widen roads by hand. Bridges are reinforced with timber and iron. Oxen are assembled in numbers normally reserved for grain convoys. This movement is not secrecy. It is commitment. Villages watch the procession pass. Word spreads faster than messengers. Every mile forward removes an alternative. Once the cannon leaves the foundry, it must justify its cost. Failure is no longer an option the system can absorb quietly. The Ottomans reorganized supply schedules around the weapon. Food, fodder, and labor are redirected. Other preparations slow to accommodate it. This is the hidden price of innovation. The new tool demands the old system bend around it. And it does. Wood groans under weight. Iron fittings strain. Progress is measured in hours, not distance. By the time the cannon reaches the outskirts of Constantinople, it has already reshaped priorities, routes, and authority. Command now flows toward the weapon, not away from it. The walls still stand. No stone has fallen yet, but the system that once relied on patience has been replaced by one that depends on arrival. An arrival has already happened. The gun crews load the cannon and receive the order to fire. The system being tested is deterrence, whether the walls still prevent action. The defenders watch from towers they have trusted all their lives. They are not expecting silence, but they are not prepared for this sound. The first shot cracks the air. Stone dust lifts from the wall's face. The structure remains standing. For a moment, the old system appears intact. Then the second shot lands in the same place. And the third. This is not siege tradition. The cannon does not seek collapse through time. It seeks repetition. Byzantine engineers respond correctly. They mark the damage. They plan repairs before nightfall. This system has always worked because damage used to be slow. But the rate has changed. Firelight glows along the wall as stone is hauled back into place. Mortar sets under pressure, not rest. Men work knowing the next shot will arrive before noon. The wall is no longer a barrier. It is a schedule. Each day begins with impact and ends with repair. Each night restores less than the last. Material disappears faster than it can be replaced. The defenders have not lost courage. They have lost margin. By forcing the wall into a cycle it cannot escape, the cannon does not breach stone. It breaks the system that once made stone decisive. Control is still held, but now it must be earned again every morning. The engineers order another night repair, knowing it will not hold. The system now failing is maintenance, the assumption that damage can always be reversed. For generations, the walls have absorbed punishment slowly enough to be restored fully. Stone replaced stone. Mortar erased impact. That rhythm is gone. Crews rotate through exhaustion. The same hands lift heavier blocks with less rest. Tools wear down faster than replacements arrive. This work no longer restores strength. It preserves appearance. At dawn, the cannon fires again. The repaired section breaks first, not because it is weaker, but because it is predictable. The Ottomans adjust aim with each shot. Data replaces guesswork. Impact points tighten. Inside the city, command arguments narrow. There is no debate about tactics. There is only triage. Which breach matters most today? Which section can be allowed to fail tomorrow? Control is no longer exercised over the wall, only over damage distribution. Dust hangs in the air longer now. Stone fragments pile where streets once cleared easily. Movement slows inside the city itself. The wall still stands in places, but it no longer functions as a single system. It has become a collection of wounds. This is the cost of obsolescence. Not sudden collapse, but endless repair that consumes capacity without restoring control. By continuing to fix what cannot be fixed, the defenders keep the city intact for another day and surrender the future one night at a time. Shift schedules are rewritten after another breach opens before midday. The system now fracturing is command continuity, the ability to sustain coordination under strain. Officers rotate posts faster, orders shorten, explanations dissipate. This is not panic. It is fatigue becoming policy. Night repairs continue, but supervision thins. Mistakes go uncorrected. Measurements drift. The cannon fires on rhythm. Its crews are rested. Its supply is protected. Inside the city, defenders begin compensating for failure rather than preventing it. Guards are reassigned mid-watch. Gates are covered by fewer men for shorter hours. Footsteps echo where they used to overlap. Silence stretches between patrols. Authority still exists, but it is stretched across too many tasks. Every decision now trades vigilance for endurance. Control is exercised by subtraction. No order explicitly weakens the defense. Each one makes sense on its own. Together, they thin the system. The walls still absorb impact, but the city no longer absorbs error. By allowing exhaustion to dictate structure, command preserves short-term function and introduces long-term vulnerability. The breach is no longer only in stone. It is in continuity. And continuity, once lost, does not announce its absence until something passes through it. A gate is left unsecured as the watch changes. The system now exposed is transition. The fragile space between orders, shifts, and responsibility. This moment has always existed. It simply never mattered before. The wall still stands nearby. The cannon still fires on schedule. Nothing appears different, but the defense now relies on timing instead of certainty. Coverage assumes overlap that no longer happens. Authority assumes compliance that fatigue has eroded. No alarm sounds immediately. No command is given. Ottoman troops advance when resistance fails to appear. Not by force, by recognition. The gate does not resist. It does not slow them. It simply opens. Whether the cause is sabotage or exhaustion no longer matters. The system cannot distinguish between the two. Both mean the same thing. Footsteps replace bombardment. Metal moves where stone once decided. Inside the city, defenders react correctly, too late. Orders are shouted. Positions are reclaimed in isolation. Control does not collapse everywhere at once. It collapses locally, then spreads. This is how systems fail at the end. Not through a final blow, but through an interval no one could afford to guard. The walls still exist. The defenders still fight. But the system that once made gates irrelevant has surrendered its most basic function, deciding who is allowed inside. Ottoman units secure the gate and signal for reinforcement. The system now breaking is internal movement, who controls space once entry is achieved. Inside the city, streets were never designed for defense against infiltration. They were arteries, not barriers. Byzantine commanders issue counterorders. Units redeploy through narrowing corridors. Each movement takes longer than planned. The Ottomans advance without siege logic now. No pauses, no preparation. They move where resistance thins, not where walls once dictated. Control follows momentum. Fires begin unintentionally. Smoke limits sight lines. Commands no longer travel intact. This is not a failure of bravery. It is a mismatch of systems. The city's defenses were built outward. The threat now moves inward. Each block secured reduces options for the next. Retreat routes vanish behind occupied intersections. Communication fragments into local decisions. Stone that once delayed armies now channels them. The city's own structure accelerates the takeover. By the time centralized orders cease, control has already inverted. Defenders respond to movement they no longer shape. The cannon continues firing, but it no longer matters. Its work is done. What remains is not conquest by force, but the extraction of control through circulation. Who moves freely and who reacts. The system does not collapse suddenly. It empties. And once emptied, it cannot be refilled in time. Imperial orders are issued that no longer reach their destination. The system now failing is authority, the ability to translate command into action. The emperor still occupies the center of the city. Messengers still move. Banners still fly. But authority now travels slower than events. Units act on last instructions received. Some hold positions already bypassed. Others withdraw toward gates no longer controlled. This is not disobedience. It is latency. Control once depended on the walls buying time. Time allowed orders to circulate. That buffer is gone. Metal clashes echo unpredictably. Smoke thickens into sections. Footsteps overlap without coordination. Each commander acts rationally with partial information. Together, their actions cancel out. The Ottomans advance by pressure, not plan. They follow openings created minutes earlier. Resistance forms after the moment has passed. The emperor's authority still exists in name, but it no longer shapes outcomes. It reacts. This is the final cost of obsolescence. When the system that created authority fails, authority becomes symbolic. The city is not lost because no one commands. It is lost because command can no longer arrive in time. Control is still claimed, but it can no longer be exercised. And when authority cannot reach the point of decision, history has already chosen its successor. Ottoman forces secure the final intersections and cut off organized resistance. The system now resolved is control itself, who determines movement, access, and order. There is no single moment of surrender. There is only the absence of reversal. Byzantine defenders still hold pockets of ground. They fight where they stand. But these positions no longer connect to anything larger. The walls remain in fragments. Some towers are still intact. None of it matters now. Control was never lost when the stone cracked. It was lost when defense stopped shaping time. Once decisions began arriving after consequences, the system could no longer govern outcomes. The cannon is silent. Its purpose is complete. The Ottomans do not need it anymore because the city now works for them. Streets guide movement. Gates regulate flow. Structures built to protect now organize occupation. This is what obsolescence looks like at the end. Not destruction, but replacement. The Byzantine system did not fail because it was weak. It failed because it was expensive to change, and change arrived anyway. The emperor's authority ends not with capture, but with irrelevance. Orders stop being issued because there is nowhere left for them to go. Control is extracted cleanly, not taken by courage alone, but by technology that made the old rules unusable before anyone could afford to rewrite them. When Constantinople falls, the medieval world does not collapse in noise. It becomes outdated, and history moves forward, not because the defenders chose wrong, but because the system they depended on could no longer choose at all. And there you have it. History is full of these incredible moments, and we're just getting started. If you want to experience more epic journeys through time, subscribe to Dramatic History Journeys and hit that like button. See you in the comment section.